fashion this from the irony of the world, that I, the undaunted laureate of the place, daunted in some unassured pretense of what they see, they be as if such where they was yet to be, and then to say they is and is not, like revelations, wow, humans. The skin, the lodging inside dumbness, a slight breeze frees they speech, to speak as if acquainted with small things in the world, eating, belching, farting, murder, robbery. And so, as if, and them too they is, but nothing further but the wee dots on the deletion resembling the minds of them yet to come. Imagine you were me, or imagine you were thee, and we knew all the things both do and is and will ourselves to be. Imagine you were in this place and they wanted to run everywhere, pointless, endless, understanding not even why they smell or their hair fall out or what to do about gout, that they are yet stupid to colds and cancer and death they think holy. When death is simply a report card of the ignorant, nothing dies but that which never lived. And it might return in a white suit and in charge of ugly small mistakes. Somebody at Harvard could win $1 billion in a post if they could find out, but they never will, because it's the reason they committed suicide. Suppose you had to live with ignorant white people and Negroes in cages with important chains around their mouth. Suppose you had heard of Trent Lott. Suppose you woke up 1 a.m. and there was a vampire on the tube being interviewed by a Nigolino boob, a handsome rat, for whom the idea of brain was only an idea, which he did not think if he could was a bad one. And the boob was a killer, yet to graduate from killer school, so he worshipped the vampire's teeth. The 2 juicy fangs hanging from each end of his lip, the Negro thought was hip, and dreamed of having teeth like that so he could be a rat. He was tired of being a mere heel, and the vampire was planning to bite the whole world, to suck the blood out of everything, to suck the blood out of the world and make its future a vampire that could whirl through space and suck the blood out of the stars, suck the blood out of the planets, suck the blood out of the moon, suck the blood out of the sun, and then armed and blubbery fat with everything's blood still hot and musical like emptiness, he could lift into the outer wagonosphere and search for God, if there was such, and suck the blood out of him, her, it, them, whatever, till there was no blood anywhere, not even you, blood. In fact, you be the one the first to go. It was a special issue of Jungle Comics where the vampire, the thin-nosed kind from the outback who can suck with his teeth and stir with his nose, whose eyes are missing, and what you see is the bottom of a coal mine filled with 2,000 fathoms of lynch. Execution, missing, raped, cheated, framed, slandered, stolen, frowned, frozen ex-corpuscles. Lonnie's Lament. He is called Fangul the asshole and dances to dry lips set on fire by missing junkies he has eaten. He is the devil's newspaper and wears his ass backwards so the colon can wear a uniform. And Revelations can be burned, especially chapter 18, verse 12, where it say, beware of ugly motherfuckers, who is not really ugly motherfuckers, but uglier, much, 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 much more uglier than that. So spake Nat, amen. I speak with the rage of angels, them that be with marks. I speak with the clarity and inferno of the necessary. Like my man John on Patmos, watching Sky Vision and digging it was all commercials. I blow with the deep fear of John on the island looking at the actual devil. I am like him in that I try to count the mammy jammers' heads and horns and find out what will kill him. I speak like him who spoke to Philadelphia and hung out with Jesus before they murdered him. I speak like him who dug that Peter was a coward and gave the Lord up, and that Paul was an anti-Semite who never came out of the closet. I speak as one who knew Judas would drop a dime on the movement and confirmed the chump had hung his lousy self just before I got busted. I speak as one betrayed by the lies of those who say they are religious but are greed-ridden worshipers of Satan, who kill anyone who opposes them and calls it a church of defense against evil. Like John, I would speak like John who baptized, like John the knower, John the blower, John the brown, John the revelator. I speak like James the brother, James the other, Jim the hip, like Dick the rude, like Bird the high, like Monk the deep. I speak from the island of my soul and cast a terrified look into the sky filled with monsters, with witches and devils, with great whores and beasts of things with heads and horns and blood dripping out of their eyes. It's out. It's out. Imagine you were here in this place, staring into the soul of something filthy, trying to keep it from murdering you, to keep your eyes from registering, your ears from hearing, your mouth from reporting, and you could feel it breathing on your neck and saw sometimes the shadow of its horny hands reaching out of the blind dark. You could see the shadow of its gun, its lie, its teeth sweating. Imagine you could actually understand its obscene ideas. And they made you enter the mind of Fred Douglass and stare out at the ocean, just as John at the edge of Africa staring at the overhead commercials on the death of the beast. And so the blessing that is in my name and in my words, I give to myself and you who are truthful as the actual life of the world. And it is this blessing which will save us, will make us strong as we go on with our work of scientifically determining how to kill the beast. Each night I fill my notebooks with formula and instructions to myself and others, what to do, of what to study, where to go, who to talk to and when. I make lists of words and names and events and processes, necessary stages of what we have come to realize is protracted, and what we do, we will do. And what we succeed at is worth the pain. What we fail at is worth the understanding if we can understand what the next step is. We are studying with all our minds and hearts and souls determination to understand how to slay the serpent. This task Nat handed down to whoever did understand that was what he did, hanging on that tree, slain by the serpent's host. So we have learned that we cannot die except by our own submission to it, and decided we will not die except when we understand what place we go to, and so begin to set that where in order and begin to understand where the beast will be hiding there. We are the rider of the black horse. Black horse, black rider. We are the rider of the black horse, black rider, who conquers with a scale, with justice and measure, in the mighty pentatonic mode of the finite music of infinity, a new joint. And when I returned from this forwarding of my feeling and knowing, the beast sat still and his teeth wiggled with lies, and at once I remembered where before I'd seen him, before his tenure as the counterfeit ghost in the Caucasian crib. Yes, it was the same one. Remember the little devil that Gerald 2X arrested and placed in the pages of Muhammad Speaks? And we saw him where Malcolm had locked him up, with the little horns out of his head and the evil eyes and the twin fang straws for sucking oil and blood. It got clear to me as he rose to leave, and the Negro boob slobbered happiness at being recognized as the newest commode in the Caucasian abode. The vampire turned, and where before the cunning little tail that used to dingle out his hiney struck me at its absence. Oh, I thought. And at that moment I saw the thing dart like a copperhead's fart out of the Negro's curled lips, ring with the white chalk Caucasian circle of merit, which identifies wooden Negroes, promoted to the honorary genus of Homo locus subsidiary, literally near man or near the man, who no longer kneel when they are made well-paid heels, but now can assume the funky bedbug crouch of the hideously self-hating. At the same time, they are given a great facsimile carte blanche weapon of ugliness to use against N-words and any who would violate the sanctity of northern appetite. And so I came to understand that the beast's deadly arrow, shot from out of the first horseman's white bow from the white horse, the weapon which Revelations prophesied to John was the weapon of his transitory rule, was now the tongue of the boob, whom I err at calling him bat or rat or heel or dog or traitor. That tail become a tongue was the sign that from the vampire's tail was bestowed on the wooden Negro a badge that allowed him to enter Klan meetings and skinhead lynchings and Texas executions and Palestinian ethnic cleansing and report with the slobber of his terrificacious white ringed serpent's beak. Symbol, font, and punctuation on the tabula rasa of the media sheet, the empty echo of his eviscerated self. And in the soul's place, that beast's tail was hung. And in the soul's place, that beast's tail was hung. The beast's tail was sung. And I stood, and I stood, and I stood, remembering Patmos and the images that sailed across the air when you and I was there. I stood remembering Patmos and the images that sailed across the air when you and I was there, and wondered what next the world of this life held for those who would love goodness. What next the world of this life held for those who would love goodness, for those who would love goodness.